Dear listeners, sorry about any confusion. The first book is called Cause Sovereignty. Black Ray doesn't send have it listed in the Z format. Okay, but what may content until remember the language have it listed as English book and what means English language. Black Ray doesn't chapter and in the title of that chapter. Book Hulet is listed, Cause Sovereignty Hulet, Black Love English Bond. Book Sust, Eboxin. Theater State of Nowhere, which will be out next month, will be listed as Cause Sovereignty Sust English book and Leslie, Bok Arat, Yemkus will be Cause Sovereignty Arat, English Kush and. I hope it is helps and again, I'm sorry for the confusion. Also, please help me by hitting the thumbs up button and sharing this with family and friends on Facebook or any other platform you use. It will help me build up my channel and allow me to put more content out as well as better videos. Please let me if you see any errors. I am doing all this work myself and sometimes when I'm tired, I mess up. Chapter Asrasust, Jala and Enea. One equal coincidence Jala and Enea grew up as warriors and were trained in their gifts early. Jala loved animals, and Enea had a great passion for music and arts. She was also a talented dancer. By the age of 10, both twins had mastered their gifts. One equal Queen's family grew as well. Their first set of twins was Jala and Enea, then Theopilas and Kimaz, and the second set of twins was Masud and Sebeka. Then there were Tanasu, Majay, and Eboxsigun. One equal decade his children at home, at the oldest Taviti and instant they were also sent to school. They learned about different cultures and languages. If he saw them interested in anything, we encouraged them in his subjects as well, but most important to him, he David in his people's history as well. On a day, when one equal was teaching the twins, he stood in front of the room. European countries were much smaller than the United States and Canada. The population of Europe did not include Russia, but it was almost twice the population of the United States, so it was more densely populated. Europe sent mostly criminals to this new world and degraded the state of the world to their greed and sickness. They took our people, made them forget what they were, and made them into a savage nation through mental and physical means. After around 2 years, they create mental and psychological enemies. They had the privilege of raping, murdering, and demonizing them into an unrecognizable species. Then refused to give them reparations for the disaster they created. Ironically, the African most asked them how to be civilized, and in return, they went to their country and stole their people, and thus people became as they once were. Because of laziness and greed for power, our people became sad examples of men. They create laws to keep our people down. They will steal, kill and rape us, men and women alike and say, I'm sorry, we won't do it again, and if we did the same to just 10 of them, they will kill us or lock us up for 20 to 30 years. The fear created in our people will seem like you will treat each other with more respect, living in that kind of hell tighter, but you will treat each other with so disrespect but treat their oppressors with loyalty. That was 10 years ago, and now there is another oppressor. But you need to remember one thing if you remember nothing else, you say. Don't treat it with hate, you are not called hate, but love one another. 9-year-old, Jella raised her hand, Pops, why is this stuff so important? We're talking about thousands of years ago. Waninik smiled and walked toward Jella, shaking his head, Jella, Jella, Jella. And I started laughing at Jella, thinking she was in trouble. Waninik took a seat in front of them. We do read the Torah. Some of our histories were thousands of years before that. Baby, history isn't the Torah. We don't learn anything. We learn for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So, learn from your mistakes or repeat them. Yes, they led to our people and told us that Europeans were the pioneers of early human civilization. They led at every chance they called it. For example, when Ethiopians defeated the well-armed Italian army. Newspapers in Dakindasa reported that the Ethiopians were white, so the people wouldn't know that what aliens defeated them. Even South that half of humanity's recorded history had passed before anyone in Europe called of invaded white. The earliest priests in Egypt began keeping records as far back as Arat Shito Sustshuk, compared to what was in the years later, when Homer's poems were still being handed down orally within the confidence of the Greek city-states. Some time after Sustshibik, when the pharaohs of Egypt built their first world-renowned pyramids, Europeans were peeling it nothing more than mountains of rubbish heaps. History reveals that famous well-known Greeks and Europeans, who studied their history in writings, learned that the fate of Athens scholars on the Nile Valley Kemet. Thales was one of the first Greek students to receive training under Egyptian priests. Even Plato records that Thales was taught in Egypt under the tutelage of the priests. Yes, even Plato was a student at Didymus was for 11 years, Aristotle for 13 years, Socrates for 15 years, Kepler for almost 11 years, Pythagoras spent 20 years, and Hippocrates studied there for 20 years. Honestly, I love the math in it waste. Diodorus, Solon, Thales, Archimedes, and Euripides. When he kneeled in front of Gela, it took 40 years to graduate from West, meaning none of the so-called Greek scholars ever graduate, they are considered dropouts. Many people thought that the famous praise Manknote itself was in Italy written and spoken by Socrates, the Greek philosopher, however, and St. Etienne's were the first to write those words down and outside of their temple in the Bill Valley. The terms fed, drank, and be merry, for tomorrow we shall die, were assigned to Socrates, but it was murdered. In fact, the first Olympic Games held in Olympia, Greece, were not in reward of sportsmanship, physical strength, or brainmanship. Instead, it was public ceremonial worship by the Greeks of the African god, Iman. Most European gods were of African descent and were given European names. The Greeks gave the African god Ammon the name of Zeus and called Jupiter, by the Romans. Imhotep had his name changed to Asclepius by the Greeks and Asclepius by the Romans. Also, while I'm thinking about it, the Greeks' contribution of the Egyptian Nile Valley to the world was its excellent educational system. In the Kemetic educational system, the ultimate aim was for a person to become one with God, to become like God, or to become good like rapid revision of one's own nature how God is revealed in the person. This was one of the highest endowments a family called Jefferson in those days. When the boys, for back then, it was for boys only. But when the boys got into the temple or grand lord, they were expected to study for 40 years in subjects such as grammar, arithmetic, rhetoric and dialectic, geometry, astronomy, music, architecture, masonry, carpentry, engineering, sculpture, metallurgy, agriculture, mining, forestry, art and make. Now you know how education is important to me as well, Jella. If you don't know the truth, anyone will create a lie, and you'll easily believe it. One stood up and returned to the font of the Rome. Is it right to say that Egypt was truly the cradle of civilization? By Roman European scholars and teaching the world the true sense of civilization. You see, not how to learning is all into Africa. No one can erase the historical contributions Egypt has given to the world. The African man and woman brought the light of civilization to this world. When he could flip through a few pages of a book he had on his desk, here we go for you as cement. It would say this when he continued, Marco Polo, visiting the Panin kingdom, said to have been the darkest man, must at least timid and considered better than others who are not so dark. In truth, he's a people portrait here. God sent those as black and the devils as white as snow. They say that God and all the saints are black, and the devils are white. More than 1,000 years before the foundations of Greece and Rome, proud and industrious black men and women known as the Dravidian erected a powerful civilization in the Indus Valley. African kings indeed loved the region's commerce, culture, and belief systems from those origins. Their Clyde Winters, who wrote, Afrocentrism, matters since. Said, Ethiopians have had very intimate relations with Indians. Before the Middle Ages, the Ethiopians ruled much of India. These Ethiopians were called the Naga. It was the Naga who created Sanskrit. Sanskrit was the ancient Indo-European language of India. The Hindu scriptures and classical Indian epic poems are written in from with many northern Indian or Indic lineages come. The earliest mention of the Naga appears in the Ramayana. They are also mentioned in the Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata, we discovered that the Nagas had the capital city in the kingdom daughter Zegis spread between the German Genesis areas and Shisust Matubik. The Dravidian classic, the Chilapetkaram, clarified that the first Greek kingdom of India was Nainadu. The Naga probably came from Kushpant. Ethiopia's and the Pandits were the greatest sailors of the ancient world. In the Kemetic inscriptions, the Pandit reports of Akalit, Hemel, and Tikar, which corresponds to Odulus, Hemezan, and Tyr. Even the Lions of India were the black race that laid the foundation of their civilization, and the Hellas box of India also from that enlightened and came from Ethiopia. The first god of India was a dreadlocked black man called Shiva. When Nick took a deep breath, Ted was a mouthful, but decided all of that to say this. You want you to wait your report on other black rulers from India. No, class desisted. 2 weeks had passed, and the assignments were due. When Nick walked into the class. Look, Jules, today we're going to do your reports, and then we'll learn some feeding techniques. Jella, you love animals so much. Let's see if they can fight alongside you in battle, and then we will incorporate some dance moves in your fighting skills. Now, can't dance, but maybe we can, work tighter and tight. Jill rushed to the front of the class, and then I followed and stood next to her. Jill cleared her throat. Sazira Kajibabak was an Ethiopian who conquered the Bengal kingdom and established the Hafsa dynasty. He was a city. We also know the city as city, soil, and Habsi. They were in ethnic group fed in a bit in the end. Pakistan. The city remembers descended from the Bantu peoples of the East African region. One of his own assassinated Sazira Kajibabak shortly after coming to power. The man who took his place was Malkindal Kinsultan. Upon assuming the throne, Malkindal Kin changed his name to Sefdin Abu Mayfar say. The end. Jella quickly took a seat with a smile on her face. After turning a few paces, I stood up and played her nods to her side. Jim Aldini could be in his wisdom pouring Delhi as a Habsi. Habsi were African in the basin in Slavs in progress India. Tenimidovs from the Arabic word the best obvious Persian forms that Slavs were employed by the chiefs of Muslim India, especially in the Deccan. They were believed to have great physical prowess and ability in the lack of personalities, which promote loyalty. Many observers towing office, and some became independent. The most famous of them was Malcolm Burfenanayer, who defeated Mahals, who controlled much of South Asia during this time. Ebs in western India, the cities of Jinjura, commanded the fleet of the Bijapur Sultan and became independent chiefs. They defeated the Marathas and transferred their legend to the Mahalapur Aurangzeb. They accepted British supremacy and maintained their state until it was integrated with the Bombay state of the New Indian Union. He was one of many enslaved Africans of East African descent frequently employed by Muslim monarchs as mercenaries and royal security teams. Shortly after his employment began, the reigning sovereign Queen Rezi, the first female monarch of Delhi, took a liking to him. They promoted him to the royal courtier, and later rose to occupy the important post of superintendent of the royal stables. They awarded him the Honorable Emirul Emir forces, and later the Mufti Emir of Emirs. The Turkish nobility also had dealings in the region at the time. Already resented the one rule by the Muslim nobles and clerics. Queen Rezi's relationship with a slave, both considered racially inferior to the Turkish nobles who ruled the Sultanate, alienated the nobility and clerics and so on provoked open rebellion and conspiracy. Hasidr Sabatoli called off Jamal and Yakut. Yana started sending and with her hands across both of her shoulders. Sacked the hitters off, sacked him hitters off. Jell interrupted, lying. There was another guy named Malik Soa. Malik was his dialect back then, and it's a Semitic term translating to king, recorded in the Semitic and Arabic in Dasmok in Northwest Semitic during the Late Bronze Age. But Malik Soa was also described as Sahibasi and Bahim, the governor of Jampur, a Sultanate close at Odolhe. Under the title of Malkasarkar, king of the East. He captured Jampur province. According to the history of medieval India, Malik Soa received the title of Kiyajan, was appointed as the governor of Jampur, and received his title of Malkasark from Sultan Nasruddin Mehmed Sayyid of Uluk. He established himself as an independent ruler, took the title of Edbekazim, and suppressed the turbulence in Ital, Koil, and Kanaj. He also brought Kara, Yoet, Sandila, Delmau, Bahraik, Bihar, and Durud under his control. Terry of Jagninger and Tirol Latnag acknowledged his authority and sent him many opens. After his death, he was succeeded by his adopted son, Malik Kornfell, who took the title of Mubarak. Malik Soa and has the successors Malik Mubarak Kornfell, Ibrahim Seh, Man Seh, Bekikin, and Hassan Seh, Arkal Sharikins who ruled the kingdom of Jampur for a little less than a century. They were all black Indoricans called Habasses, or the Ethiopians, in India. This was the period of peace and prosperity in the history of Jampur, with remarkable achievements in the fields of art, architecture, education, trade, and commerce. Malakinbar, one of the most famous among the Indoricans. Ina interrupted, His original name was Sambu, born in Harar, Ethiopia. After he arrived in India, he raised an army that gave a tremendous power in the West Indian realm of Amharic. A brilliant diplomat, tactician, and administrator. Later, he broke away from Bijapur and built an independent mercenary army of over 1,500 African, Arab, and local men. Joining the state of Amharic, he imprisoned King Murtaza, naming himself a reigning minister. Amber promoted minorities of various ethnic groups to critical positions and implemented financial, educational, and agricultural reforms. Waninikiv was proud of his titles and said with a smile, yes, there were many other powerful figures in the political scene of India. Cheney Khan, the Prime Minister Tanazim al-Bani, King of Amharic. His men are just a few of the Abyssinian, Habes, Ethiopian, and Dravidian rulers, leaders, and wisdom who shaped India. Yes, all were of African origin. Now, let's go outside and fight. The twins went outside. They enjoyed challenging one another, and Waninikiv enjoyed it as well. Later at night, as Kuan slept on the other side of the bed, Waninikiv grabbed his pen and pad, for it had been a long time since he had written anything. Rolls. Thyssen sings. Tetsan, from Thyssen, I called rice. Those rice fell and scattered across this plant called earth. In a form that are no grains, that this plant feeds on. Now, everything here on this plant nest is no grains. From the birds, to the bees, flowers, trees, and seeds. Light relates this energy, darkness absorbs it. And this has been the dilemma. When the seeds are planted, what starts its growth? What makes it grow? Roots. Roots form and grow, that beginning of your glow. And from that scatter. That ray. Yes, that same glows, and you grow. Some plants have stems, and sometimes, later down the road, some of them stems become branches. But that is for those of us who are plants, because you have your trees. Which are plants, but in a higher degree. Another story, another time. This light spoke about earlier has to go from the same process as the darkness. But it's harder, for light hinders darkness. But that is not what I'm talking about at this time. Again, another story, another time. Right now, it's the roots. Roots help you grow, without it, you just won't glow. They separate you by your roots, take us to forget your past. This is what you have gotten from those branches, from those stems, all you got was the dirt from the earth. Child we just do without roots. No. Have forgotten to scatter from the rise, the rest from the same that casts you to glow. Remember. Light reflects this energy, darkness absorbs it as long as you resist. So, raise your family, raise your family. Be a family, become roots, that brings forth a tree. When the twins were 15, Friedrich got word from home that a dear relative had died and asked when he could coin if they were interested in saying Botswana, Africa. They took the twins along, leaving the wristband for Antisable, who was happy to watch. A boxer was the youngest, being just a year old. Anna was so excited when she found out she was going to Africa with Friedrich. She started dancing and singing by and sent her this namaginoin and titled Amstmatuham Salheit, Amstnetab Amst0het. That's my address. That's my address. Jill was always playing with the animals, and they seemed to listen to her every word naming them in a soul and different names. On the day of their departure, she asked Friedrich, "Can we bring an animal back?" Friedrich smiled. Did he know that Ethiopian soldiers' lambs, bears, wasps, and elephants in wars against colonizers? And Ethiopia has never been colonized. They trained these creatures to vegetarian mess. Jill smiled, of course he do, I'm afraid. Friedrich shook his head, smiled, and looked at Waninikiv, of course, she does. Jill laughed and sighed. This is how. They both say to each other, never for it. Friedrich surprised the group on the day of their departure. You've made outfits for our trip. Please take this in, put them on your traditional dress for my country, and by the way, Jella, this are not real animal skin. Friedrich and Waninikiv wore lambskin colored essay, then draped with a cuirass, royal black solely made from animal leather, a skin cap, sandals, and bell tails. Belts of tails were allowed only for warriors, copper were necklaces, bead strings, and armlets. Queen wore a kiba with a beautiful Mrs. Edison was covered with a cross and wrapped with colorful necklaces, bracelets, rings, and earrings. Jala and Dina wore Moses in kiba. We must make our road war to your few opinions, Friedrich sighed, pulling out a map on his tablet. We'll go as far south as or to Redriolos and then do just making stops here in her, depending into Jules. We might go her. When he requested Friedrich's decisions, and they hated until Johnny, leaving John made up in charge until their return. They finally arrived at their destination after 3 days and parked their ski craft just a few miles away, for the elders of Botswana were like the elders of the law, and they didn't want to frighten him. As they walked toward the village, they were met by a group of warriors without the ski crafts. We come in peace, Ian Friedrich, son of Edwin. To pay homage to his sister Kate of Pomage. A warrior from Tibet came to the front. You can't be Friedrich, son of Aina, for he has the face of a crow and the body of a giraffe. And then the warrior ran to Friedrich and embraced him with tears in his eyes. Friedrich embraced him back with tears in his eyes. Nephew, he shouted. Friedrich said unto his nephew, How old are you? 36, now, he replied. Friedrich smiled. You're just as old now as you were then. His nephew laughed. You walk now forever inside will look like twins. When he given his family lagged, and when he said, You two look alike. Friedrich introduced when he given his family as they walked the rest of the way to the village. The women wear black dresses, and the men wear black hats and a piece of black or blue cloth with a matching necklace and bracelet according to their customs. Friedrich took a minute to explain to Jala and Dene about his culture. When someone dies in Botswana, the Botswana believe they become ancestral spirits whom they praise. These ancestral spirits have the power to cause sickness and bad luck for the living. To prevent the spirit from causing harm, their family makes sure the funeral properly honors their memory. Typically, when an elderly family member dies, it's considered a natural death. And I interrupted Friedrich. But when a young person dies, it's considered the cause of witchcraft, evil spirits, or unhappy ancestors. Friedrich sighed. When you has told you well, and I sighed. His without ourselves when you told us we were coming. Friedrich was impressed. Well, you were right, and we made it in time for the night value, with. Yes, tomorrow evening until sunrise, so did you some rest. Mourners pay their respects, pray, sing, and give speeches to honor the deceased. Friedrich walked to the front, grabbing an old tone book. You want to read this? It's a story we repeat for centuries on special family occasions, and it is a sort for family and love. It was first written by your ancestor, Pastor von Thelma, over 1,000 years ago when they celebrated Christmas. May great untied made a meaning and the purpose of family. She will read this to me from a kid until the day of home in this book. Holding the book above his shoulders. Wasn't the hers? He cleared his throat and wiped his tears. My first exposure to what love looks like. As I recall from my childhood, they begged and says black couple despite the devastating effects of the war. 150 years of slavery preceding him, 50 years of Jim Crow following him, and 45 years of rampant discrimination following him. He grew up not in a head but in a close-knit community, a village. During this time, black people were still struggling to rebuild after the worst human holocaust in modern history, the winds of which were still blowing hard, carrying the debris of discriminating and destruction we are still trying to recover from. A time when black folk bonded together in tight-knit communities for years of production, healing, and help from extreme times. And it did take a village to raise a child. And a family to raise a nation. My grandparents epitomized strength, character, dignity, racial pride, and self-respect. They believed in a hand up, not a hand down unless you were picking someone up. Hey, we were poor by societal standards, but some of them didn't know because the family in it and the coping skills of them made up for it. Lacked in material needs. The elders did all take out to protect the children from the harsh reality of a world ravaged by racial hatred and classism, and oppression in all cities. But sometimes, reality penetrates. And sometimes, they need overwhelming efforts to fill the void. And on bitterly cold weather, around the holidays of Thanksgiving and Christmas, the need was overwhelming. For her family, work was scarce. Money taught to mention. My grandpa, we called him Papa, was not feeling well. He walked on a can from severe criticism in on a leg. From years of hard labor into cotton fields and on farms, working with folks' lands, as a sharecropper. My grandmother's name was Curry, but he affectionately called her Bear. We were never knew. She called him Jimmy, but his name was Jim's and old man, if she was ever dead. It was not unusual for sometimes 2 or 3 families to be living under one roof. They piled on top of each other. Family trumpet comfort. That winter, several of my cousins and I stayed with my grandparents while our parents were often out of town working or looking for work. It was Christmas, and we had nothing. No money for presents or a tree or food. I remember. Only of the few times I saw my grandmother cry. She always kept up a strong front for her family, no matter how much pain she was in. This time she called hold back the tears, watching his kids watching other families on a black and white television talking about trees and presents we wanted for Christmas. One of us asked her, Ma, which was our nickname for her, are you getting a Christmas tree tall? He was around 10. I remember asking my grandma if she was crying. As us all, she wiped her tears away and tried to cover them with a smile. However, my grandfather had stood in the bedroom doorway, silently watching her cry. He didn't say anything. He just grabbed his hat and coat and the can of face, went over kissed my grandma on the forehead, and sighed, I'll be back in a little while, Bear. She quickly whipped the tears she never intended for him to see and asked, where are you going in that leg in this cold, Jimmy? You're gonna be up all night. He just whinnied at her and sighed, don't worry. You'll be back. He headed up the road, limping and had can. Hours passed. Every so often, my grandma would look outside for him. You did too. I knew she was worried. Something about your parents or grandparents coming home back then was always a comfort for his kids. We knew we'd be back. It was almost dusk when a slick, expensive car pulled up, and the Papa got out. A white man drove. Papa called to his kids to come help. Get his bags out of the car. We excitedly ran over each other to the salty white man who was with got out, opened the trunk, and pulled out a Christmas tree and a bag of decorations. He brought it into the yard and helped me put the dozen or so bags of groceries and gifts on the porch. Papa thanked him for his help. He shook hands. The white man with his hat and added voice sighed, welcome, Jimmy. If we get more work for you in the future, I'll let you know. Merry Christmas to you. He got in that big expensive car and drove off. Papa turned to us all inside, where is he all standing round her for? Help your grandmama get his bags and the tree in the house and get to decorating. And don't you all look into his bags either. Except the ones with the groceries. The smile on me grandma's face was prickles. This time the tears in her eyes were of joy and wonder. The reader that I am, a letter chronicled that moment and that bed with him in my journal 4-letter stories. You heard her whisper to him under the screams and shouts of me and my cousins. Old man. What you doing going out there working in this cold and that leg like that? Me Papa gave that silly smile a face. They got loud mad away. Now, leave me alone, Bear. Emin ain't got no pride if he can watch his family suffer and don't do nothing about it if he can. She patted his chest and smiled, the way she always did when she was pleased with him. He told her he was going to walk up to an in-board house in minute to see if they still needed food. He watched me Papa limping and that can, walking up the road in the bitter cold. It was sliding slightly. It was a moment. Frozen in time for me, tell me if a real man, a father, a grandfather, a neighbor, and a friend, will put the needs of his family and others above his own pain. It was an image I have never forgotten. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to one and all. Closing the book, he said to the crowd. Cat inspired me to be old man for me people. With tears rolling down his face, Friedrich Tucker said when I got up, you would like to sing a song for me on Lafray. She grabbed Jella and placed the instrumental to a unintended stairway to heaven by a classic rock named the Jazz. They sang the song so beautifully that the crowd stood up. Some were Queen, and the tourists cheered. Queen smiled, "That was such a beautiful song. I didn't know you guys could sing like that. I've heard you sing praise but not another song, and Jella, Lord, I never knew." Jella blessed, and then I said with a smile, "Thank you, we sing to Jella's animals all the time." Friedrich started crying during a song and hid from the crowd as he thought about all the time he spent with his own cat, but he simply called her cat, just walking with no destination. After trying to hold in his grief for so long, he broke down in tears. Jella felt his sorrow and touched Enea. "Uncle Francis." Enea looked at Jella and said with tears, "What are we here for? Let's go." They saw Friedrich ahead of them, so they went to him. Unafraid, they screamed until he finally turned around, wiping his face from the tears. He just needed to take a walk, and I began to speak but was captivated by the view as they started looking round. Everywhere he turned, even some of the most beautiful scenery. That summers makes it even more beautiful. Friedrich smiled, "This is my home, Botswana, the birthplace of all modern humans. Home of the busmen or sand in poor people, who also spoke the eldest cousin language." The Jules knew he was about to give him another history lesson but let him speak his mind and just listened. On the European the rest of them came along, our official language was Setswana, however, unless has crept its way in. The British called it Bechuanaland, but it was meant in Botswana. It is to be one of the poorest countries in the world and has since transformed itself into one of the world's fastest-growing economies, with many as its top research in thin technology. It was also one of the hardest hit by the HIV epidemic during that time. You wonder how did that happen? Shaking his head as he continued. The country's name means Land of Botswana, referring to the dominant ethnic group in Botswana. The term Botswana was originally applied to Botswana, which is still the case. However, it has also generally become used as admonym. He passed. Admonym is a word that identifies residents or natives of a particular place, usually derived from the name of the place or an ethnic group. Botswana is the plural form, and Botswana is the singular form for all citizens of Botswana. The Europeans say Botswana, we say Botswana and find that word offensive. Friedrich passed. You guys probably know all this, right? He sucked their heads and smiled. Well, do it not hate? Looking at Enea. There was a man named Enea, a Professor James Enea, who was on special reporter for Indiana's Peoples, who Enea interrupted. That's the angle for you now, Jella, Lamane sighed. Yep, just talking and talking. And they all lined. They walked a few yards further, and they heard a sound. Jella sighed. That's crying. She ran to the sound, and there were two hyena cubs, one stripped and the other albino. Friedrich walked up and looked around for a mother hyena. They must be lost, for it's strange for his cubs to be left alone. Jella walked up to one of the cubs and packed it up. Farewell. Friedrich sighed. We do name him, and you'll never see it again. Jella smiled. You will see him again cause I'm taking him home. Enea picked up the other pup, it's because she's red. As they returned to the village with the puppies in their hands, Friedrich looked at one and would shook his head. You already now will have new family members, don't you? When could say to Friedrich, and he smiled, yes, you do. The end of this chapter. Please support my content by going to the links below. Visit Cause Sovereignty Store Buffer for mugs, shirts, and more is on its way. Link is in the description.